welcome to the Pixelated Sausage Show. Hi. How's everyone doing? Hopefully well, unless of course you are an Xbox fan, an Xbox player. And by that I mean a player of games on Xbox. Well, obviously that's what I mean. I just really want to get to what I've been playing, which includes Turbo Overkill, Platypus Reclayed, Notice Me Leena-senpai, Electronics Puzzle Lab 2, Cat Knees, and Airborne Justice. And why I just want to get to all those is because I don't really want to talk about how Xbox is just fucking shitting all over the place anymore. I'm sick of it. As someone who primarily plays on Xbox, it is my platform of choice. It has been for a very long time at this point, since the 360. I'm invested in the platform. My library is there, so on and so forth. I'm stuck there. All right, people, I'm stuck there. And there's only so much they can do where I can be like, you know what, it's still okay. So if you don't know, how you don't know, I don't know. But they recently announced a changing of, or just a price increase for various and for all the Game Pass. So I don't know why I'm trying to tiptoe around the fact that they've increased the price of Game Pass. Not right now. It goes into effect, I believe, November 4th. I got a pop-up on my Xbox today telling me that. I thought it was an instant, this is happening right now, but the pop-up said November 4th, I believe, for all these new changes. So I think some of the changes are already happening now, but the price change happens then. And that could be why GameStop is getting a little cheeky and be like, oh, we're not going to raise our prices, because they're going to raise their prices when November 4th comes and they get the new cards in stock and so on and so forth. It is so ridiculous that we're at a point where GameStop, a company no gamer likes at this point, I would imagine no gamer likes, except for ones that maybe are able to abuse their trade-in system. They have some deal and you can trade, like, oh, here are 4 copies of Madden, give me $100 for them towards the purchase of this platform or some shit. I don't fucking know. I don't know if they have things you can abuse like that anymore. But the new price of Game Pass Ultimate is going to be $30 a month, which is quite the jump from the current price of $20 a month. They said, $25 a month? We'll just skip that step and go right to $30. And it's just, regardless of whether or not it's worth it, because you can make arguments that for what you're getting, it's worth it. They're changing up, so now you're going to get access to 400 plus games, I think, with Ultimate, including, I think they committed to, for next year, 2026, 75 plus day one games, obviously not all first party games, as well as whatever their back catalog is and recycling things in and out like they do. And they're adding Fortnite Crew, is that what the pass is called, which is $12 a month, and access to classic Ubisoft games or something like that. So you can make the argument that it is absolutely worth the $30 a month. But that doesn't matter. It's still $30 a month. The more you ask of something, the more people look at it and say, okay, well, now I have to engage with this even more to justify the monthly cost. The less you provide, because even if you add significantly more value, and however much that costs you to do that, and then you have to put that cost on the consumer, now they have to say, okay, to add this $10, what am I gonna get rid of this subscription, that subscription? So removing that, one, I don't give a fuck about Fortnite. I don't want to pay extra for some Fortnite subscription I won't use or take advantage. This is like when Amazon adds a bunch of bullshit. Like, here you've got Grubhub for fucking free now. Here's Amazon Music. Here's this. Here's that. Here's YouTube Premium. Now you get YouTube. I just want what I want. Let me piecemeal things together and pay the price that is for the shit that I actually want. Don't increase the price of something by adding new benefits that I don't want and will never use. Is Fortnite very popular? Yes. But guess what? As popular as Fortnite is, the vast majority of gamers still don't give a shit about Fortnite. Even, I don't know what the active number player base is, but say 10 million people play Fortnite. That's less than 10% of all gamers. So there's a significant number of people who game and don't fucking care about Fortnite. So why are you giving me this $12 subscription for free when I didn't ask for it? And I mean, there are things to consider. Maybe they see that the vast majority of Game Pass subscribers play Fortnite. I don't fucking know. But it just, with the cost of hardware going up significantly twice now in the last, 3 months? And now the cost of Game Pass and all the tiers have gone up, but now Premium and Essential have gotten cloud streaming added to them and some other shit or whatever. Who fucking cares? It seems like Xbox is trying to do everything they possibly can to push every single consumer or potential consumer away, sans people like me who are just so invested in the Xbox ecosystem that we're stuck there. Because I would not recommend Xbox to anyone at this point. It's been that way for a while, I would say, with the recent price hikes were on hardware, that it just made like, I mean, I guess maybe if you want to engage with the cloud shit or so, I don't know. But with this, it's just, no. Buy a PlayStation. Buy a Nintendo Switch. If you have a PC capable of playing games on it, just use Steam. Get a Steam Deck. I'm very excited about the ROG Ally, Xbox Ally X still, even though it's quite pricey, and it's specifically because of the ergonomics. I like the Steam Deck a lot. It's a great device, but for me, control-wise, it just doesn't feel that great, and it is especially not ideal for certain types of games. Like, no way in hell can I play a shooter on there. So if the ROG Xbox Ally and Ally X genuinely feels like an Xbox controller with a large screen in the middle of it, that is very appealing to me. In the same way that the Portal is appealing from an ergonomical standpoint, but not so much from a unable to play games on its own standpoint, being just a remote play device. But to me, I look at Xbox and I think you really are, the next Xbox really is just going to be this console PC hybrid, to even call it a console in the sense that you can to hook it up to a TV and play games that way. But what is the point of the Xbox Store? Why does that exist? Who is going to buy games on the Xbox Store? As opposed to, obviously, PlayStation, if you're on PlayStation or Nintendo Store. But if that's what the next Xbox is going to be, why wouldn't you just buy games on Steam, where they are often cheaper, go on sale more frequently, and if you want to go the reseller route, you can go to something, a site like CD Keys, and get games relatively cheap, especially near day one, if not day one, than you can on other What is the point? And I see the ultimate thing. Oh, you can earn up to $100 back by doing this, that, fucking whatever through rewards and blah 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 blah. I have never felt more unsure of the future of not just Xbox, but specifically my library. I look at my library, all the money I put into it, all the games I own, and I think to myself, how long is this going to be around? Am I going to be able to download all these games I purchased come 5 years in the future? I don't know. I want to say yes. I want to believe yes, but the way Xbox is going the last 6 months, they just seem like they're fucking trying to destroy themselves. And they're not being subtle about it. I just wonder to myself about all that kind of stuff. And I think, what is the cost of keeping those things alive? Because they PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, they have killed the ability to, they've killed the storefronts on older consoles. Nintendo has gone so far as to, I'm pretty sure you can't re-download games on the Wii and the Wii U as well, and the 3DS. Yes, I think so. But on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, you can still download your old games, I believe. You just can't buy, the stores are gone, so you can't buy games and anything. But I'm pretty sure you can still download. I haven't tried, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. But how long does that remain the case? And so I don't know what to make of Xbox. As someone who, it's weird in the sense that I would never call myself a big Xbox fan. I'm not like, oh yeah, fuck it. And I don't like a lot of their first party things. I love the controller way more than the DualSense or any of the places. I think the DualSense is a very solid controller, but I vastly prefer, it is my favorite controller. That is a big part of why I play on Xbox and not PlayStation. And you can say, well, why don't you play on PC? For me, I can't disassociate PC and work. I work on computers. That's it. Just when I want to relax and I want to play a game, I don't want anything to do with my computer. I know I can hook up my computer to my TV or do shit like that, or put Steam in big picture mode. It's just, I still know. I'm not. It doesn't trick my mind into thinking I'm not playing on my PC, and I don't want to deal with settings and all of that. Okay, I want to put this on high. I want to put this on low. I'm going to put this on medium. I'm going to have this aliasing on, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to get everything optimized so that it runs the way I want. I don't want to deal with any of that shit. I don't want to do that. I just want to put the game in, and if there is a performance versus quality mode, I put it in performance mode, and I'm done. I fucking play. And Nintendo, I'm just not a Nintendo person either. Their games, primarily. So, yeah, and I while not being hugely into achievements anymore, I care more about achievements than trophies. But I don't fucking know. I don't know. What are they doing? So yeah, Xbox. Good job. You're doing great things out there. Wonderful. We will never ever see another news story about how many Game Pass subscribers they have. Oh, they're never going to hit a new milestone because the only milestones they'll be hitting are going down. What? Where else are they going to go? How? Game Pass isn't coming to other platforms. Game Pass isn't coming to... if Game Pass came to PlayStation, it would have to be a drastically different library. What are they doing? What are they doing? And my one friend said he read some people saying they think Microsoft is doing all this to try and get a government bailout, which would be, it's a safe thought to have, but fucking who knows? I mean, they're being insane. All right. What's not insane though is Turbo Overkill. Now, I talked about this game when it originally came out on PC in early access, and then when it originally came out on consoles, and it just recently got an Ultimate Edition upgrade, which, along with getting a digital art book and soundtrack, has come with it a lot of updates, quality of life updates, new controller schemes for controller, and other such things. So I played a little bit of it to mess around with the new control schemes and all that, and it's still a great game. I think the addition of modern-ish controls are nice for the people who want them, because I don't believe you can fully customize the controls yourselves and remap them, at least on console, with the settings. But I think the default controls for controller are still the way to go, because they feel tuned for the game and the style of game that Turbo Overkill is. If you don't know what it is, it's a boomer shooter-ish. And when I say that, I guess I mean pixel-ish, low-res graphics a la Duke Nukem 3D and stuff of that era, which came into popularity with stuff like Proteus, and I don't know why that one is the one that came to mind. But we've got a lot of these games that harken back to 90s era first-person shooters, PC shooters, but a little bit more high fidelity, kind of the 2D HD of old fast-paced first-person shooters. So it was one of those, and it is very movement based. So you have this chainsaw attached to one of your legs, and you can slide. When you slide, you pull up your chainsaw and you can slide through people, slice them up and all that. You also have a dash and a sprint, double jump. So it is very, very movement based, and it's very, very fast. You'll be moving all around the environment. And I think the way the controls are, having dash and all that stuff tied to the bumpers, makes it feel way more fluid and natural, and gives you more freedom of movement. And since it is more about movement than anything else, I think it's still the way to go. And I don't remember if this was in the game at launch on console or not, but I would also highly recommend, if it's not on by default, going into the settings and turning up the aim assist as high as it can go. Because again, this is a very fast-paced game, and it's all about movement. So you shouldn't be worrying about also trying to aim when you're more concerned about moving around the environment and making these great jumps and doing all these things. Let the aim assist get you in the right general direction. Like, you get close enough to the enemy, let them then put you on target so that you can focus on movement. And when you're locked on close enough, you'll get there, and then you can take down enemies. But it is just a really fun first-person shooter. It has its campaign mode, which I think is the better mode to play, and then a survival round-based horde-like mode, which is okay, but I can't remember if there are multiple environments. The one I played a little bit in, pretty dull environment to fight in. Very small, not a lot going on in it. It wasn't the most fun to play that. But playing through the levels, looking for secrets, navigating the space with your movement abilities is quite enjoyable. Yeah, that's Turbo Overkill. It is, I believe, $20 just by itself, or if you want the Ultimate Edition, which comes with the art book and the soundtrack, that's $25. So not a big price. I feel like oftentimes you'll see that with a $10 upcharge. Digital soundtracks to me make no sense because I'm not going to listen to the soundtrack with the game launched on my console. Just give me a code for something I can listen on Bandcamp or download off of fucking this site or that site. Being locked to your console with the game just seems pointless to me, and that's why I never really engaged with soundtracks. But I checked out the art book first time, checking out a digital art book like that. Going through an art book on a big screen TV, it's not a bad experience. I prefer physical, but it's better than I guess I would have expected. I don't know what I would have expected. But yeah. Again, that's Turbo Overkill. Platypus Reclayed is a remake, I guess you would call it, of an old vertical scrolling shmup from the PC that is all made through claymation. So the visuals are all claymation art, and it looks very unique and lovely and very cute and inviting because of that. But don't let the visuals fool you. It is still a rather challenging shmup. I played a bit of it, had a good time. It does include the original game, which is just the original visuals. Surprisingly, not the jump in quality. Like, the new visuals are much cleaner, yes, but the old version of the game still looks pretty good today. It also, you can see the difference in the UI and the overworld type of map design for the game, but it's basically the same game. It's cool to have it in there. But when I play the game, I really like the visuals. Go a long way. I think if it didn't have the unique visuals of the claymation going for it, it wouldn't be that special of a shmup. It's a fine shooter. It's a fine shooter. It's not bad. It's not great. It's just good. It's just a solid 6, 7 out of 10 type of game. But I really like the visuals, so I enjoyed my time with it. That is again Platypus Reclayed. And I'll jump to the other one. Airborne Justice is another shmup, but this one's horizontal scrolling shmup. And it's okay. It has more classic retro-inspired pixel graphics and feels more akin to, but doesn't look as good as something like a 1942 and such. But very easy, 1,000 achievement points. Just clear the first 3 missions. Done and done. What I noticed about the game, though, playing through it, is that the way it's designed is that only a handful of enemies will actually fire bullets or missiles at you. And then to make it a lot more challenging, they just fill the screen with a whole bunch of other enemies that you have to either destroy or avoid while trying to take out the enemies who are actually firing at you. So the way it makes itself challenging is through clutter. It just clutters the screen with so much shit. And whether or not that sounds appealing to you is up to you, of course. The controls are also not accurate. I mean, the controls are what they are, but if you go to the information screen where it tells you what button does what, that's wrong. It is all wrong. And I'm not going to explain the controls because they're going to be different depending on what platform you're playing on. But just know that if you use that, it's wrong. Just press every button on the controller to figure out what does what. I think for me, missiles were the B button instead of the X button. And to charge up my fuel special ability, it was the left or right trigger instead of one of the other face buttons. So that was a little bit annoying. But yeah, it's okay. Nothing too great. I would much rather of the two shooters play Platypus Reclayed than Airborne Justice. Notice Me Leena-senpai is a mixture of visual novel storytelling with a kind of tower defense more akin to something like Plants vs. Zombie gameplay, where the story is told in visual novel form, and then you're doing these tower defense missions where you have, I think, 5 lanes at max, and you are placing your towers, which are just various types of girls that can do some kind of ability, whether it be close range, long range, so on and so forth. And then when you set up your formation, it'll tell you where the waves are coming from for each round, so that they might be in the highest lane and the lowest lane or the middle lane, so on and so forth. Then you watch that play out, and then next round you can readjust your placement of towers, characters, so on. Sell ones, buy new ones, so on and so forth. And just rinse and repeat until you clear the mission completely. It is all right. It doesn't require, in the time I put into it so far, it doesn't really require that much thought or strategy, which hopefully is something that comes through in later stages. But at least early on, you don't really have to think all that much. And the story wasn't really engaging me, but I do like that it is it feels like it's more pushing the gameplay side of it than the visual novel thing, but I like the idea of having something that is a visual novel in its storytelling, but it has a more real gameplay element to it, and has it happening more frequent, so that it's not just reading, but you get this gameplay element that feels more like an actual game than just a very inconsequential minigame. So that is nice, but it's all right. It's all right. Yeah, I don't know. It was fine. I was excited about it when I realized that it had, because I thought it was just going to be a visual novel, especially given the title. And when I saw it had this kind of tower defense gameplay mechanic to it that I do enjoy, I was excited for it, but in actual play, it was just okay. Just okay. At least the early impressions. Hopefully it expands upon itself later on. But that is, again, Notice Me Leena-senpai. Then Electronics Puzzle Lab 2 has you working on circuit boards to transfer the power, the energy from a battery to various switches on a board in order to complete puzzles. And as you play more and more, you'll have various obstacles to worry about. Blue lights you don't want to turn on. Then little parts that are or parts or not parts that will either they'll take the direction of power from this source or that source, or they won't take it from either of these, and you have to find an alternate way of getting around this, and so on and so forth. I remember playing the first game and liking it, and this one is the same. I think if you if you enjoy puzzle, I think it is a very, very solid, simple puzzle game that does a good job of ramping up the complexity gradually and requires you to think a bit, and you don't just breeze through things. You're not just, oh, flip this switch, this switch, this switch, and you're done. No, you have to look at the board and see exactly what each thing's going to do, because flipping one switch could send energy, send power to this thing, but it'll also send power to this blue light, and so you can't do that. You have to adjust a few other things first, so you have to do things in a certain order. And yeah, I like it. It's a very simple aesthetic, and that it's just these circuit boards. I'm calling them circuit boards. That might not be accurate because I don't know shit about hardware. I look at them, I think, oh, that's probably that's like what do you call a circuit board? I think. Fucking, I could be wrong in my terminology, but I think it's a really solid puzzle game that uses its setup well. Is that what I'm looking for? Yeah, I like it. Decent time, decent puzzles, well-designed puzzles. It'd be, $5 well spent. I'm pretty sure it's like a $5 game. That is again Electronics Puzzle Lab 2. And then the last one is Cat Needs, which is another puzzle game. This one is on a 2D plane of just various spaces. And what you have to do is move these cats around this space, these various spaces, to give them what they need. So a cat may need to sleep, so you move them to a bed that they can sleep in. Or they may need to eat, and you move them to a bowl of food for them to eat. Or maybe this one needs to eat and sleep, but it won't sleep until it's eaten, so it has to eat first, and then you do that. But they're all in this same 2D plane, so you have to do things in a certain order, because the black and white cat can jump over two cats, up to two cats, and can still move after they've accomplished what they want. They only ever want to eat, so they can still move around, but the fat cat can't jump over any cats, and once they won't sleep until they've eaten, so they need to eat first and then sleep. But once they do that, they're not moving anywhere. You have these two small kittens that like to play with things. They'll play with a little mouse or a little ball of yarn, but they'll also play with a box that other cats sleep in. So you have to make sure not to put them in one of the boxes unless you have enough to go around, because then you're going to take away a box for another cat to sleep in that wants to sleep, and so on and so forth. They have a cat that doesn't want to be next to any other cat, so you have to worry that, deal with that. They eventually at the very end add a dog that will play with the little kittens, so you can deal with that way. But they just don't mind anything. But I think some of the cats don't want to be around it. It's a fine puzzle game, and it's kind of cute. The only issue I had with it was that when you're moving these things around, I kind of wish that the ability to cancel controlling one cat and move to another was a bit faster, a bit more responsive, because I found myself at times moving a cat, having it jump over a thing, and I want to cancel controlling it right away and then move on to another cat, and I would accidentally move that one again and have it do something I didn't want to do that would make me reset the puzzle. But it's a solid puzzle game that uses its theme well of giving these cats what they need. Cute art. It's cute when you see the kittens playing with this or that. When you see them playing with each other, it's pretty cute. Or playing with the dog. The dog is the fucking happiest dog in the world. That dog is just happy to be in this game full of cats. Couldn't be happier that it's in a game called Cat Needs. Like, I thought this was just gonna be a cat game, but I'm a dog and I'm here. Yee-hoo! Yeah. I don't know. It's a solid puzzle game. A solid puzzle game. Yeah, that's gonna do it though for this here episode of the Pixelated Sausage Show. So, yeah. Once again, I am Marcus Nez. Y'all can find me pretty much everywhere at PX Sausage. If you enjoy this here show or any of the stuff I do and what have you, you can support me and my nonsense over at patreon.com/PXS. There you can get access to the sausage dump, where I just talk about this, that, and whatever, as well as a private Discord channel and some fancy Discord roles, of course, depending on your tier, or you can just support me if that is your fancy. That is, again, patreon.com/PXS. In addition to the Patreon, you can find links to the site, the YouTube, the Discord, and so much more over at pxsausage.com. That is the letter P, the letter X, sausage.com. Including YouTube, that is where you can check out me streaming, which happens every weeknight, 7 p.m. Central. Stream some Rage 2, the end of Rage 2 this week, as well as the recently released Nicktoons and the Dice of Destiny, if you are interested in that. Finish that game in 2 nights. So, if you want to check out that game, you can watch the streams there or wait for the eventual Attack the Backlog of that there game. That is it for this year episode. Once again, as always, thank you for watching or listening. I hope you enjoyed this here episode, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. But for now, adios, arrivederci. Bye bye. It's go time, go daddy. It's go time, go daddy.